I'm going to hit record. So you guys got to watch your mouse. You can't be out here cussing all the time because it'll be literally on tape. Okay. And we're going to record. And so Mason, Nan, you guys, and let's say let's say you're on vacation or got, not sick, but, you had to stay home. What I'll probably do is I will record every day the screen. And I hope that you guys can hear me all right. And what we'll do is we'll just record this and then we'll put it on a Google Classroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to need a couple different things. We're going to need to get today, we're going to want to get online into our accounting site. Have either or any of you two online? I'm sorry, you're going to get a little blip when I turn that screen on. Have any of you guys been on Cengage? Any of you guys been on Cengage? Okay, we're gonna try it. We'll kind of show you. I'm gonna flip my screen, guys, so you can see it. And we'll kind of go from there. So why don't you guys all log in? Go ahead and log in. And I'm gonna have to start over because it might be easier. See, Mason, Nan, everybody's getting logged in right now. Take a minute. We're going to go ahead and oops. I want to share screen. Okay. And we'll kind of move this off to the side a little bit. All right, so when these guys get all logged on, then we'll get started. Basically what the deal is you're not going to get a book. You're going to get a book online, okay? And so what we need to do is set up an account. Why don't we do this first? Why don't you go to Google Classroom? Mason, Nan, you guys do that too. Go to Google Classroom. And we're going to have both classes, period 1 and 5, together. And this is our passcode to Google Classroom. All right. So go ahead and log in to Google. So our computers are still buffering, guys, so we're waiting a minute. I don't know if their computers are slower or faster than ours or not. Oops. And if my computer's faster or slower than your guys's, maybe take a picture of this if you're getting on. I don't know how it'll be. But this is what will hopefully allow you to get into our class. So when you go to Google Classroom, you guys have done this before, right? With Google Classroom. Okay. Tell me if that's working for you or not. HPQ 7QGS. HPQ 7Q. I think those are Qs. Okay. You go by Alex or Alexander? Alex, okay. They work for you too. All right, so Just basically, I put accounting 1 and 5, our 2 classes together on one webpage. Okay, so we'll be okay there. If you click on this thing, posted accounting procedures for fall semester, you click on that and go to instructions, which will be up top. There's some things here that we can first talk about. The first week bell, I don't know, did you guys talk about bells and lunchroom and what you guys got to do for connections and all that? Okay. So if you wanted, you can do that either. Did they tell you about these signs on the walls? There's this thing over here. You can take a picture of this and it'll tell you what the day is. Yeah. You take a picture of this, okay? So I just put those as references for the rest of the week, probably for me too, because I don't know what the heck's going on, you know. We're going to kind of follow a couple things. All right. The first thing we want to do is if you open up this Cengage MindTap document, I think it should be, and this is the document that'll help us kind of, this is kind of an outline of what we want to try to do real quick today. Okay. So what we want to do is our MindTap accounting is under a thing called Cengage. So we want to go to this Cengage and create an account. The hard part is, for me, I already have like 5 accounts. So you guys just click on Cengage. It'll take you to a place and you'll want to go to students. We want to create an account, wherever create an account is. It's so big I can't see it. We just want to create an account. Why is that so difficult? Oh yeah, sign in and create an account. Yeah, so you guys want to create a student account. It says new student, create student account. Now what we've done in the past is whatever you log in, like onto the computer, just use that exact same username and password. Like, don't you type in your email, or just use your school email and password, whatever. Because it's going to ask for an email. So if you use your school email and then whatever that password is, and that way you don't have to remember 2 different dang things. That'll be easy. Okay, and once you get into Cengage, it should be okay. Okay. So, and if you need to do something different, or Mesa and Anan, hopefully you guys are okay with that. Then on our sheet, it says our online class is here at this website here, the nglsync.cengage. So go ahead and click on that. I don't know. Yeah, see, I already signed in. So you guys got to sign in. If you go to this NG, yep. Perfect. That's a good screen, the login screen that you had. So I'll sign out. I'll get out of there. So if you click on, I've already signed in, so I can't show you. But yeah, you guys should come up to a login, right? That screen there is perfect, yeah. That you're on, Dylan? Yep, just sign in just like you did with Cengage. Okay. You're all set? All right. Oh, you're good. Okay, I'm going to give you the class code. Get out of it. I'm going to give you the class code once you sign in. Now it's going to be a little different because we have 2 periods. I'll help you in a minute. We are 2020 period 1. I don't want that. I'll give you a class code here in a second. I'm got a revolving, a circle deal here. Mace Adnan, are you guys doing okay, hopefully? Holler at us if you're not. Okay, I don't want that. Dashboard. All right, so this, I should highlight this. I'll just, should put that on the instruction. Oh, I did put it on the instruction sheet. Sorry. Here, this is the course key. So right here, you guys are period 1. Oops, I just moved it. You guys are period 1. Just highlight that. This part right here, period 1 on that sheet I gave you. Did you bring that sheet up? Off of our Google Classroom? That is your enrollment key that you put in there. And then you should get into an accounting classroom type of situation. Still not getting in the same game? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's whatever you set up to get in the same game. So, did you set up a thing in Cengage? Yeah. Yeah, it's your email. You gotta go to email. Okay, so, oh. Okay, you go back to your sheet, the sheet for that. Okay. And then, 50263.
Hey.
50322.
We can't log into any of those. Did you ever have to do something when you first got in, or
Not one of
it
you
won't let
like
me
that.
ever log into any of them? Like it just tells it just like shakes and something.
Oh, it means it's not connected to the network, but shakes. Are the Ethernet cables
I'll
on?
check. I'll check.
If it shakes, means it's not connected to the network.
But it's for me.
Yeah, whatever your password was that you set up on Cengage. Well, go back, I don't know. So whatever you set up at Cengage is the login for that. So maybe we can go back to Cengage and set up something different, or like, okay. What was your username for that in Cengage, and then whatever you change the password to? Yeah, and then what did you just change your password to? And try the other one. Try the password that is that the password that you set up Cengage to. Try it down here. Hard last year. I don't know what's going on. I've got it again. Again. Security questions and just. We'll see. Yeah. Absolutely perfect. All right, so we're gonna go. access code. Maybe. See what it says. Don't worry about it for now. I'll find out. I'll find out. Oh, there. It's like that. Yeah, get out of there. Go down. Go back. Go back. Put the, go to my instructions. Put that in there. See if that works. Copy that in the area there. Yeah. That continue. Right. Oh, maybe you're already in or something. And then hit open. Yeah. Okay, so I don't have that yet, so we're going to take you through the course. Yeah. Okay, you're good. Yeah. Okay, we might do the tour.
I'm just trying to reset my password. I don't know why.
Do you know how you got yours to work?
I mean, it just wasn't do the longest.
Here, let's get close some of these. Maybe you already got, so I keep my already.
Yeah, I didn't use that.
Go to Cengage and then let's see, so sign in there. Yeah, for some reason you didn't have to use that when you got internet. Okay. So in here is where's that instruction sheet? You copy that period one. Copy that. Yeah. Register. Now it's going to ask you for an access code. It's going to ask you for an access code that I don't have yet. Do that next time. Maybe I can find it by the end of the day. Okay, so then what we want to do, and then we're going to do the. Do you guys want to do that tour, or do you want me to just kind of show you? Why don't you just say, take me to my course? I'll just show you around, okay? And we'll see if these guys are on there. All right, so the idea behind this is the access code, the course key that would be in a Cengage area to get you to it. It's going to ask you for an access code that I got to find yet. I don't know what that means, but at least we can get logged in. The problem's going to be we need to get logged in again. It says 6 days. I'm going to have to ask for an extension or something, which is fine. They can do that. Okay. A little bit about the course. So here is our course. I wish I can. I'll make that smaller so that. Okay. How we're going to probably do stuff is I kind of have it set up. Schedule for our class. I'll kind of just show you what my thought is. This is kind of going to be what we'll probably try to do. The first week we'll try to go over the main ideas, concepts, go over a section or two. Okay. And what we'll have to do is try to hit the main points, and then you guys we got the rest of the week because we only meet once to kind of do stuff whenever. And what I'll probably try to do is make due dates. So what I mean by due dates doesn't mean that you can't do it later. Due date just means when it gets to that point, they'll give you the answers. And so what I would set is maybe due dates for every, like on Sundays. So we'll have class every Tuesday morning, right? Basically, you guys will come and we'll go over as much of stuff as we can. Half the chapter, give or take. Then you guys will have the rest of the week to kind of work on the problems. The next week, we'll go over the remaining part of the chapter. Okay? And you will have, so like this week we only have 75 minutes. Then I think the rest of the year we have like 85 minutes on Tuesdays. Okay? And then the rest of the week you can have anytime you want, da 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 da. And then the third week, let's say the test, we figure the test takes 30 minutes. We'll review, give you time to work on the study guide or finish up any problems you might need the first, 30 minutes of class, and then the last 45 we'll give you the test. So we are probably, if let's say, God willing, we don't get kicked out of school for Corona or whatever, and we get to stay, and we stay in this, let's say, till January 16th, like finals. Like our finals are after Christmas, right? If we stay through this the entire semester, we probably won't get through the regular 8 chapters. It'll be closer to 6 or 7. But it's what it is, right? Maybe they open us up and we can catch up quicker. But that's kind of what we're looking at, okay? That is the kind of the way we'll go. Do about half of it one week, half the next week. We can kind of review at the beginning too. If you have questions, you can always email or come in on the Learning Center, like 7th and 8th hour. I'm usually pretty free. And then the first 20, 30 minutes here, and then at the end, okay? That's kind of the idea behind the class. Another thing I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about was a little bit of how we're going to grade. Okay, I'm not going to read, oops. No, I don't want that. Jeez, sorry. One last time, stop syllabus. All right. Grading scale. Now, I'm not going to read all this to you. It just talks about what you need. Basically, what we're going to do, we're going to give you the high notes. Of accounting. Accounting, if you do any finance class in college, if you want to go into sales, you want to go into real estate, you want to go into management, there's all sorts of occupational management, human resource management, there's all sorts of different managements. If you want to go into accounting, corporation finance, personal finance, sales, marketing, you will have to take Accounting 1 and Accounting 2 in college. Okay, so these give you and they use a lot of vocabulary that we will learn in accounting. So it's kind of they call accounting the language of language of business. That's what we're going to be talking about. We used to have calculators in here. I think it's easier, personally, to use a calculator like this rather than my phone. I think it's easier to use a calculator. All you're going to need to do is do adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. You're not going to have to do like Al's 2 trig stuff. But I think it's easier than clicking on your phone or doing the computer one. It's just my opinion. I think people work faster that way. The other one takes slower, but you guys are really good on computers. Maybe the keyboard, maybe the calculator on the computer is the fastest way. But that'd be the main thing. How we're going to do this. So since we're not in class a lot, I don't want you to get beat up on the daily work. Now, the problem is those of you that don't do daily work maybe aren't going to understand the mastery study guide and tests. So they kind of go hand in hand, right? But I don't want you to get focused on, I'm getting killed on the daily work, because it shouldn't affect you. We want you to learn it, understand it. And so what we want to do is how we're going to grade stuff is we will probably in this first one do a couple of assignments together. And how we break the chapter down is we'll do like a work together on your own stuff together. Then you guys will do the app on your own. Or we'll just do the work together. since we're not together a lot, we might do the work together, and then you guys, then we'll just skip the on your own part because it'll be less work. The on your own is like a additional practice you guys can have. How we kind of want to grade is we're going to do the regular grade scale, but we're going to have, if you get 87 or greater on any assignment, that's all the same grade. You're going to give you a 5, which means like an A. Okay, even though it's 87. But just because what we're saying is if you get an 87 on assignment, you have a pretty good idea what this is, means you grasped it okay. You have a fairly decent knowledge. You could probably tell somebody else how to do something similar. Okay, then if you get 80 to 86, we're going to give you a 4. Okay, and we get 70, 79, you get a 3, you get a 2 for 60, 69, and you get 59 to 1%, you get a 1. All right, so we're not giving you zeros, but I think this is great for us to be able to, it'll raise our, it won't hurt us as much. The grades hopefully at the top will be a little bit better, and we're not punishing people as much on the way down. Now, if you get a 2 on assignment and want to redo it, just let me know. And how we do it, it's not like a worksheet. I will have to open up the problem and extend the due date. So let's say chapter 4 due date for study guide is Sunday, October 12th or whatever. And we get to school on Tuesday, like, man, I got killed on that day. Or email me, because you guys can email me on Monday, go, I got killed on that study guide. Anyway, you can open it up and I can redo it. Now, if you didn't do any of the other stuff, I might ask you, hey, you need to go back and do the application problem. You skipped one. Once you do that, then I'll open up the study guide. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you can't do it. Again, it just means after the due date, you'll get the grade, and then you have to tell me. So if we do this, if we do like grades due on Sunday, that'll give us time. Okay? So that's kind of the idea behind the grades and everything. This is kind of the timeline for what we're looking at. We'll try to go over. It might have taken us too long. I don't even know when we get out of here. When we get out of here, 10 o'clock. We got 45 minutes, yeah. So we'll go over one, try to get into 1, 2. We'll go over some things, and then we'll review. And then we'll just kind of go through that. We'll give you kind of a 2-week heads up. But it's going to be like rerun. We'll try to get through 1 or 2 things this week, 1 or 2 things next week. Review. So hopefully you don't have a textbook because it's going to be online. So that's kind of the idea. All right, so you guys get to this screen in your computer. Yeah, skip the tour and I'll kind of give you one. Okay. Are those guys still here? Are you guys still here? Yep. Okay, perfect. All right, so what we're looking at here, we're going to click on part 1. All right. The tour is set up as such that there's a bunch of different icons over here. The book, so if we wanted chapter 1, the book is here where it says, if you open up, you see how you these arrows will give you more options, right? So I have everything else pretty much closed except for chapter 1 and chapter 2. So if you click on chapter 1, this is the textbook for section 1.1. This is the textbook for section 1.2. This is the textbook for section 1.3. Okay. Inside, after section 1.1, there's review. So if you clicked on terms and review, and I'll kind of just show you, there's going to be a little, you can start assignment now, and there's just little practices that they're not graded. They kind of help you reinforce what we learned. Okay, these are great practices. All your understanding will be questions. We will do the working papers. These are for your work if you want it. That's why it says practice. We will go to working papers, and this is where the work together and on your own is. We will probably just do the work together since we are such a small group, since you're doing online, we're not in school every day. So the work together, we will literally do, I'll kind of help you go through it. This is the who, what, when, and we'll figure out our little way of doing this thing, okay? Then for your own help, if you wanted, you can go ahead and do that on your own. That's extra practice. They will tell you if you're right or wrong when you do it, okay? And then this X, you see where this X is? That's how you get out of each of these sections and get back to the beginning. So each section has some review and working papers. The working papers is where it has work together on your own. Section 2, the same. Section 3, end of lesson, it's the same. Now, each chapter has this section down here. It says study hall. You see that? Click on that arrow. I don't know why it's not showing up. But there's chapter summaries, there's flashcards. Do you guys have flashcards available to you? There's practice true false tests, practice completion tests. These are all there for you to practice. There are going to be times when I won't assign the study guide. I almost always did. I always did. But with us not being in class, if we're crunched for time, I'm not going to kill you and go, hey, you need to do the study guide. But what I might do is before, let's say we didn't get a chance, or you didn't get a chance, or I feel like you're over, you got a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to have the test this Tuesday, like today, we're going to have the test. I might go, hey, spend 15 minutes. Go over the flashcards, go over the true false, go over this. That is like your review study, help you get ready for the test. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of times when I'm going to make you do the study guide, because then it makes you do it. Like you will, and you usually get pretty good points off of doing it. You know, it's pretty good, and that's part of our 65%. But there might be times when I feel like you guys got a lot too much going on, and we might just go, hey, spend 15 minutes in the study hall, and then at 9 o'clock we're giving you the test or whatever. Okay, but that's kind of a way around. Down here where it says apply your understanding, there are a bunch of problems. These are your application problems. So back in the day, it would have been like your workbook. Application problem 1.1 goes with section 1.1. Application 1.22, sometimes they got static, sometimes they have random. I try to close out on a lot of them and try to keep the muddle pretty quiet. But there's an application problem for every section. Okay, we'll go over the section, we'll do a practice. We might go over section 1.1, do the practice, section 1.2, do the practice. And then we'll say, hey, do these application problems by Sunday. So then you got 6 days to do them whenever the heck it works. And or if we got time at the end of the clock, do them then. Or if you got time in Learning Center, or you guys got Chromebooks, you can do them whenever. This stuff's not word-based right now. Then the next week we do some other things. Okay. And then down here, oh, I have it. I gotta turn my editing on. I have it closed, but it's test your understanding. There's 2 different versions of test. One period to get one version, one period to get the next. Over here, there's different things that you can do. There's different notes. There's a glossary. So you see this icon A to Z. You can click on that, and there's a glossary of a variety of different items. Is it the whole book glossary? No, but it might help you. Here's the full book. If you wanted, you can flip to whatever chapter, page. I don't know if it would help you any to do that, but you know, I don't know what, but whatever. We're going to do is go section by section in the book, so you have it. There's just different things over here. Okay. When you turn something in, I'll be able to see it in the grade book, and I'll be able to open it and tell you right away what you got wrong, and all that. Okay. All right. So what we want to do right now is I gotta get into a different course. The guy got it all highlighted in a different one, sorry. What you guys wanna do is, sorry, I always click on those because that helps me, is we are going to go to lesson 1, accounting, and, oh, actually, here, I'll just do this, Business Delgado Web Services. So our company has, every problem in the book goes through a examples. So like the first 8 chapters, we're gonna have Delgado Web Services gonna be our company. Okay. It says Delgado Web Services, the business used in chapters part 1 to illustrate the accounting concepts, procedures, da 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 da. So here's a little bit about Delgado. So this is our example we're going to use throughout the year.
Websites. The father of one of my friends asked me to design a website for his plumbing business. Once the website was launched, his business increased by 25% in the first 6 months. This was an aha moment, and I decided to start my own business offering services to design, maintain, and host websites for local businesses. I'm a solo operation. The fees I charge are based upon the size and amount of detail a client wants in their site, as well as the time spent consulting with the client. I have an arrangement with another local business, Mountain Graphic Artists, to supply artwork and photography for the sites I develop. I also have a service agreement to rent my equipment, a computer, server, and software. To increase my client base, I've researched and identified businesses to target for pitching my services. I've created marketing collateral, and of course, I have my own website that includes testimonials from satisfied clients.
Okay, so that's going to be our kind of a way our business is going to be. We're going to learn accounting this year through this little web service. That'll be often will be our example. And then when we get to problems, they'll give you different examples. So this says Delgado Services. So if you look down and scroll down, we are going to talk about what a general ledger is. We are going, have you heard the term assets before? Okay. Assets are things of value. Okay. We're going to talk about these items now. Are we going to talk about all these right away? No. But we group accounts that we do a lot of business with into assets, into liabilities. So like if somebody's a liability on your team, it's like a hindrance, right? It's kind of holding you back. Well, liability in accounting is just a bill. Okay. So I go to Dylan's store and I'm Delgado, so I buy some servers from you or wires or whatever. And I owe you money. I have a liability with you now. I have to pay you back. Let's say you let me charge it or whatever. Your credit card or a bill like you would say, pay me later, that kind of thing. Owner's equity is just the owner. We're doing a sole proprietorship, meaning one person business. So capital is all the money Michael puts in. Drawing is all the money he takes out, and then income summary is just kind of a revenue, a dumping ground we'll talk about later. Sales is our revenue, right? You make a sale, you get money, right? Profits, not really profits, it's money you come in. Profits after you subtract expenses. And then these are just a variety of different expenses we'll lump together. So this is all in a chart of accounts. We will learn how to do a chart of accounts like in chapter 3 or 4. We'll set up all these numbers, but I will often reference it to you because I think it helps that you can see assets or accounts receivable, supplies, things of value. Insurance is valuable, right? Why don't people like to retire? Because they got to pay for their own insurance. If they have a business, like school pays for my insurance. If I was to retire, I would have to find a job that would give me $6,500, $7,000 to pay insurance every year. Okay. So these are assets, liabilities, things that we would charge. So we buy a lot of supplies from Canyon and Mountain Graphics. And then this is our stuff. It's owner's equity. And so we'll often reference that. Okay. What I want to do is go to 1.1. And if you click on 1.1, so you'll be able to see where I click. So we're in chapter 1. Click the arrow, go down to 1.1, accounting and action. Okay, I'm often not gonna read this stuff. This is just kind of telling you what's going on, the role of accounting, what's accounting, da, 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 da. Okay, this arrow allows you to go forward. This is learning objectives, main ideas, whatever people talk to you about. So you can click through there. Now, how you can highlight. How we take tests is I let you use anything you want on the book. You can use your book. So this is your book, right? I don't, like, business law is not online. So I got to hand a textbook and they got to carry it with them to and from class. Because we used to leave them in the cabinets, but now with the COVID thing, you don't want people touching it. But this is your guys' book. Whenever you log on, you'll have it. I highlight different things. You don't need to follow, but I will highlight the yellow stuff. You'll either see on problems, on study guides, tests sometimes. The red stuff, 100% positive, is on tests. I just kind of went through this. So it doesn't mean yellow is not important, because it is. It doesn't mean, like, sometimes I can't highlight stuff. Any chart or things like that, I would pay attention to. So that's just why there's different highlighting. If you wanted to highlight, you just highlight like you would if you're copying and pasting, and you can highlight and do whatever you want to do. I often do it because I want to point out these things to you. Some people last year, when I highlighted stuff, they would highlight it, and then they would put all those highlights on a Word document. And then they got all the notes right there. But you can use, then I said, forget it. You can use your book. So when we do tests, you can use this book. So don't go highlight crazy. Sometimes everything's important. Sometimes you just got to read it. Okay, role of accounting. Okay, so basically what we're talking about here is what's our role? What are we trying to do? Basically, accounting's the backbone of the business. They're talking about, how do you pay for rent? How do you know how much juice you're selling per day? How much you're doing this, how much you're doing that, how much you need to pay people. These are all important things. And I don't know if I need to zoom in so you can see a little better. It sucks here. If you ever thinking about starting a band, do you know the price of tickets you make? Do you know the cost of renting the revenue? How many tickets you need to sell to make a profit? Blah, 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 blah. That's what people in accounting do. They figure out how to run the business. Everybody wants to say it's so easy. You need to pay bills. You need to get these things, da, 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 da. Okay. Data must be reported in accounting reports so that this information be used as business owners, investors, and others to make decisions. This isn't any test questions. This is just for me to remember to talk to you about. Okay. But why do we do it? Because we want to have the business run smoothly. Can't just say you open a business. You got to have a plan. You got to know how and why. So that's kind of the idea. All right. So what is accounting? We're talking about the backbone of the business. We're talking about what's called the language of business. Okay. Accounting is referred to as the language of business. It has its own terminology. We're going to have our own rules called debits and credits. We're going to have an accounting equation. The language is essential for any type of business. If you're in finance, you're going to want to talk about debits and credits. You're going to want to talk about assets. You're going to want to talk about accounts receivables, accounts payables. You're going to be wanting to talk about margins. You're going to want to talk about income statements, balance sheets, things like that. All this is what you're going to learn in this. We're just going to go through it throughout the year. Okay. A failure to understand accounting information result in poor decisions, both personally and professionally. Okay, we want to be able to understand the terminology, put it into good practice, and we're going to go baby stepping to learn it. All right, so this term is for sure on the test. So if you wanted to highlight this stuff so that you follow along in your book, Alexander, if you wanted to follow, you could highlight this stuff and you'd have it all ready to roll. So that this is like taking notes, if you don't have to write anything down. You know what I mean? So hit that arrow to the right. Yep. And go forward one more. That arrow. And if you wanted to highlight stuff, then you know that parts is going to be kind of important. And you can highlight whatever colors you want. But accounting is the process of planning, recording, analyzing, interpreting financial information. Okay? This is a process that we're going to be learning. Okay? This includes recording financial activities, very similar to what you maybe think about, like paying bills, being a bookkeeper. That's a very, 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 very generic way. If you owned your own company, only had one employer, like we're doing, it is kind of like running your house, right? You got to pay rent or utility mortgage. You got to pay your utilities. You got to do all that. You got to buy groceries. Same thing. Okay. But accounting goes through more of this. We're going to group things. We're going to try to make records so that we can make decisions to make the business better. Okay. Accounting involves analyzing, interpreting business operations, determine well-being of the company, if it's going all right, how can we be better for future success. Okay, the accounting system is this planned, designed way of taking all our records and putting it into financial data. Okay, summarize results of these records and reports. We're going to be putting them into certain forms, like an income statement, a statement of owner's equity, a schedule of accounts payable, a schedule of accounts receivable, a balance sheet. Okay, financial reports that summarize financial conditions of business are called financial statements. We won't get to financial statements until Christmas. We'll work our way to that. I'll keep hinting towards an income statement, a balance sheet, a statement of owner's equity. But these financial reports that summarize how the business is doing, we're going to learn the process, the terminology to understand how they create those. Okay? It says in today's business world, accounting software programs are widely used. That's why we're doing it online. We used to do it in these big, huge workbooks where you'd have to write everything out. Nowadays, everything's going to be on the computer, so we got rid of that and we moved forward. So if you want to go to the next page, accounting and personal life, what we're going to be doing and what our problem is in 1.1, it's going to be called what's called a net worth statement. Okay, so you might not have heard what a net worth statement is before. It's a form report, shows what an individual owes, what they own, okay, and the difference between the two. So if you're a person, right, how much money you have, how much money you make, how much money you have saved, how much money is worth your house, your cars, things like that, and then you compare it to all the bills you have, all the debt you have, blah 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 blah, right? Net worth statement. So we're gonna put a formal report together about a business, this Delgado net worth statement. Shows how much the person owns versus how much they owe, compares the two. This allows the person extending the loans, like a banker, right, to see, hey, I can give this person a loan or I can't. I got a buddy that's an accountant, and he would tell me, I go, man, I'll go home and he'll do my taxes, and I'll go, geez, man, I saw a guy driving this brand new Suburban. It's got to be 80 grand, right? And he's like, knowing that, he's got 2 mortgages. I do his taxes, and you're like, oh, okay. Just because somebody's driving something nice, or they might have a $500,000 house, but they might owe all the money to it. Whereas somebody might have a $350,000 house that's paid off. Who has more money? The $350,000 paid off house, right? So it just depends. All right, so we're going to get into a ton of verbiage here. Okay, asset. You probably heard of that before. Anything of value. Okay, assets are cars, bikes, real estate, cash, money in the bank, stock market money, investments, real estate. Any of that stuff is going to be cash. For our accounting purposes, we're going to say cash. We're going to say anybody that owes us money. So if somebody came into our store and owes us money, then that would be an asset because they owe us money. Insurance, supplies, all that stuff. You need somebody?
Sure.
Yeah, up top. Is he not supposed to be in here?
Yeah, he's supposed to. Just a quick question. Are you working? Not working? Do you have a job? Yeah. Where at? Getting at least 10 hours a week? Yeah. You work. Okay.
Well, I'm recording this, so we gotta go quick if you're gonna be, we got a lot of stuff to go over next 20 minutes. I got guys online. I can figure it out. What do you want to know?
I think it's sixth period. Yeah, I'll stop by. So I won't be.
When you have
I won't be up there though.
yeah, you'll be over there 6th hour.
Yeah, but I won't be. I'll be downstairs.
Or maybe before school, just sneak up there.
Before school, I just slided that. I have an envelope right by my door. Okay.
You got 8th hour before PE or something. Where do you at 8th hour?
This week I'm in my room with the rest of the time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no problem. All right. So those are assets, things of value. Liabilities, amount that we owe to other people are liabilities. Car loans, credit card bills, student loans, any of those things will be liabilities. For our accounting purposes, we are going to I'm going to go to Alex's store and I'm going to like contractors, right? Like I'm going to use the tile shop on Hickman as an example because my buddy runs it. So he sells a lot of tile, like floor tile, backsplash, bathrooms, countertops. And so he has a lot of people come into your store. And if you're a good like I'll be able to charge $3,000 and Alex would give me a bunch of tile. Now that's a liability. I owe him money, right? But we're good customers, so I'll pay it off over time. That's a liability. Difference between, I wonder if they want to see me or not. Okay. The difference between personal assets and liabilities is going to be called personal net worth. We'll talk about that. Net worth shows the financial value after paying off all our liabilities. We kind of mentioned that earlier. Okay. The larger the number reflects the higher the net worth. So obviously, if you have more cash, assets, houses, homes, cars versus bills, loans, and things, you're going to have more money. Okay, that's all we're trying to do. Equity is defined as the difference between assets and liabilities. So your total assets, everything you own as yourself that you own, not that you owe money on, versus all the liabilities, things that you owe, equals your net worth or equity. The higher the number, the better your company is, the better you are as a personal net worth. Okay. So it talks about personal net worth statement shows assets, liability of a person. A positive net worth means they have more assets than liabilities. A negative amount would mean that they have more debt than they have assets. In other words, they owe everything. So we're going to be making form that'll say the person's name, the net worth statement, and the date. So what I like to say with these headings is who, what, when. Does that make sense? Who is it, what is it, and when is it? So we'll do a personal net worth statement. Well, we will have a heading, assets, list their assets, get the total. Obviously, we're very, very simplistic stuff here, right? All right, this is the only thing she has. Savings account, class rank, no checking account, no nothing, but whatever. Okay. Total assets. Then we'll have a section called liabilities, which is all the monies she owes her parents and electronics, I guess. Take total assets minus total liabilities to get net worth. And it tells you down here, assets minus liabilities equals net worth. And we set up here, equity is basically net worth. Okay. You all right with what an asset is, what a liability is, and net worth? Okay, kind of being a dead horse, sorry. A lot of times I'll skip these things just because we're going to run out of time. So we're not going to worry about that first ethics one. But you will see occasionally there'll be some vocabulary terms. So the second sheet where it says ethics and business. So if you hit this next button arrow, skip that first one and go to the next one. There's going to be some terms. Right and wrong, principles of right and wrong. Well, how people make decisions based in business are going to be called the ethics. The use of making these right and wrong decisions in business is called business ethics. Those two terms will be on the test. You got them right there. You kind of have an idea, right? You don't want to be screwing people over, da 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 da. All right, we're skipping written communication section, and we're done with that group. All right. So then this little arrow up here where the X, I close that and it takes me back to the main page. So that was like reading the first section. Okay. Underneath this 1-1 where it says this end of lesson, you have that little arrow. Click on that little arrow. It says end of lesson for 1-1. We are going to go down to working papers 1-1. Okay. We will do the work together. All right, it says Megan Finder. So you guys have this instructions up top. A lot of times we'll have to open up in a section, or we'll have something that we'll have to open instructions, but they have them written for us. It says Megan Finder, a recent college graduate, is applying for her first credit card. The creditor has asked for a personal net worth statement. Megan owns a scooter worth $2,000, has $800 checking account. She owes JC Auto 920, River College 125. Complete a net worth assignment for Megan. Set the current date. Da da da. So these arrows sometimes are like fill in the blank, and sometimes they're multiple choice, right? So who is it? What is it? When is it? So who is it? Megan Finder. What is it? Net worth statement. And when is it? Does it say when? Oh, yeah. Current date. Yep. Thank you. As I was looking up here, I'm like, a lot of times they'll give you fake dates. But do you remember seeing that in our notes? If you didn't, you could maybe bring up another screen, you know, whatever the case may be. So our first heading is assets. And I want to make sure I'm telling you right, but I would think we'd go in the order. I don't know if we have to go in number order or not. I can't remember. I think we just go in the order. She has a scooter. Nope, it's not going to let me do scooter. Let me double check that I'm telling you right. What in the world? Because I want to make sure first day I don't screw you over. There we go. Chapter 3. Do we not have chapter 1? There we go. All right, sorry. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. I haven't done this forever. That's study guide. 1-1 work together. Oh, we're going to call it cash. Okay. So we are not going in the order. So you're going to call this first one cash. And you don't have to memorize the order. I will make sure you know that on the test, okay? Just as long as when you're reading this, you could tell the scooter and the checking account are things of value, right? So those are assets. Does that make sense? So we're going to put the cash 800 first. I remember thinking, why do we do that? And if you type something that comes up red, means we got to type it different. Scooter, $2,000. And then total assets. So like you see, if I spell it wrong, you guys notice that it'll go red, and then you can figure it out. You know what I mean? And then just adding it up, it's 2,800. I like how when I hit enter, they don't have to do commas anymore. It does the commas for you. Or does your guys do that? Lazy. I like it. Okay. But do you understand what they're going to ask you to do in your application problem? Who, what, when. They're going to ask you to make the heading and total for assets, and they're going to have to ask you to figure out what is things of value and put them in order. Now, if I wouldn't have typed it, it'll come up red if you put them out of order or something. So the next section, liabilities, and just to make sure, so you got to follow the directions. JC Auto 920. How do you spell JC again? JC Auto 920. You guys move around. You can move around with the tab key. I use the tab key to go sideways sometimes, the enter key to go up and down, kind of. It's up to you. And then River College for 125. I just hit tab, yeah, with my pinky and it goes over. Total liabilities is 1,045. Okay. And then this is going to be net worth. And I can't remember the number, but we take 2,800. We take our total asset number. And if you have a calculator, subtract 1,045, which is our liabilities. And you end up with 1,700. Oops, sorry, 1,755. How did we get net worth? You guys remember assets minus liabilities, right? Another word for net worth is equity. Now, if you wanted, we could check the answer, and you always want to save and continue. If you check the answer, it'll tell you with the green arrows if it's correct on these practice problems. Okay? And then you want to hit save and continue. It'll say 2 out of 2 points, but these are just practice. So we'll hit save and continue. Now it says on your own. I am not going to assign these this year. Kind of made up my mind as we were talking, but I was thinking about it. If you ever had a problem where you went, you know what, I'm not sure, I'm going to go back and try to practice that. You can do it. You can check your answer. There's no skin off. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt you. Does that make sense? You guys all right with that? So we will only do the work together. If you want, do the on your own to help you. Okay. That X, that arrow at the X will get you out, or that X in the corner. Okay. And I have a due date, but it doesn't matter. Okay. So then what you guys will be asked to do is, you see, where's the, if I tell you you need to do application 1.1, you go down to here. You gotta remember, apply your understanding. Before next Sunday, or before, I guess, September 6th is what I have, so it's a long time from now. Okay, you'll be asked to do 1.1. What is 1.1? You click on it, and here's the problem. You have assets, cash, you owe college money, you owe a boutique, you owe electronics, and you have jewelry. Jewelry is an asset, cash is an asset. There's 3 liabilities. It tells you Lauren Julia has been saving and would like to purchase a boat. She does not have to pay cash, and she has contacted lending institution, lending concept, blah, blah, blah. Prepare a net worth for Lauren Juliana. Okay, so you put Juliana net worth and you put the date, and you would go through this problem. Cash. You don't need, does cash, Julie, and all that typed out for you? Your problems are going to be under apply your understanding. See that? You see apply your understanding? It's under chapter 1. Yep. It will not be under the end of lesson. So you guys will have to try to do the apply your understanding. Okay? And what we'll do is we'll give you the time now to do that. And we'll just stop there for today because we had to do all that introduction crap today. With about 4 minutes left in class, what I'll do to clean is I'll bring these 3 rags up, I'll spray them, and then you can just wipe like the mouse the keyboard and like the countertops around you. And you don't have to do the whole row because everything's clean once you came in, right? So just your area. But why don't you guys take a few minutes? You can do application 1-1. Then so tomorrow or next Tuesday, we'll come in, we'll do 1-2 and 1-3 and get ready for the test. Maybe even start the study guide or do the mastery problem. We'll figure some way out. What I would do, folks, is maybe bookmark Cengage or the accounting, like MindTap, so that you don't have to log in. You know what I mean? Like just kind of bookmark it in your, so that way you don't have to spend time. You can just type in your logins. Is that cool? Yeah, you can submit it if you're finished. And sometimes problems like that, when I only take 2 minutes, you know, and then when we get learning more stuff, problems will take a while. But first day, just getting logged on and just talking and getting everything organized. But I would bookmark it so then you don't have to spend 5 minutes. Like when you guys come in, especially in the morning, being after this week when we get done doing connections, so like next Tuesday, you can just come in and bang, it'll be there. I think you might make sure you always can save and continue, and then if you have submit, is there a submit button? Yep. If you're ready to submit it. Now sometimes it might be that you don't, and you just want to save and continue because you're not done with the assignment. You know what I mean? The application problems will be graded, and they will be 35% of your grade. Nope. So like those daily application problems, 1-1. So application problem, when you go down to apply your understanding, those are going to be 25% of your grade. The mastery problems, study guides, exams will be 65. And then your final exams were 10. But it'll be like a problem. It'll be like a reinforcement activity. It'll be a big problem. But if we can get that far. If we don't get kicked out of school. I want to be able to. All right, Mason, on, we're signing off. I got to make sure I can get this. Okay. We're going to stop recording. Hopefully that helped. I'll put it on our Google Classroom so you guys can have it. You're good. All right, Cengage was having a hard time. So you go here, go to Cengage, sign in, create an account, create a student account here. go ahead and do that. How do you bookmark it? Go to up here on Safari, bookmarks, add bookmark. And you can name it however you want. You can name it accounting. You don't have to name it something huge or whatever. Just so that you don't have to, hopefully it'll take you to, it'll probably take you to a login area, you know what I mean? But at least it won't be like you got to search for it a lot, hopefully. So then we'll go email, and then you'll have to go to your email, set up a new password, whatever that password is. And then there'll be a spot that'll say enter the key, which is in here, the Cengage Mind Tap. I thought you went here and then you entered the key. But they said if you went here, sometimes it didn't work. So then all of a sudden it'd show up like, hey, we need a course key. So this, oops, so that would be your course key that you'd highlight in there. And then the page would open. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you very well because I'm already logged in and everything, but it should work if you're able to do that. There'll be an area, enter this key, put this in, and then it'll come up and you'll hit continue. And then it'll say you only have 6 days left unless you put this access key in. We won't put that access key in. We'll just hit continue, and then you end up at accounting. And then, well, this is the login I assumed you guys would use. So I think when you guys come in, this is the login you'd use, your school email, after you get it all set up. And then you'll put in counting 1. All right, we'll see you guys. Oh, we didn't clean. I'll do it.